Halina mga bata, tayo nang mag-aral. Sa math, walang maiiwan. Masayang mag-aral, tayo ng math-tuto upang di kayo masenso. Maging mataga, maging matalino, halina't mag-aral na tayo. Maging matyaga, maging matalino, halina't mag-aral na tayo. Halina mag-aral na tayo. Halina, 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 mag-aral na tayo.
Good morning once again, mga Batang Mandunong. We are still on our Project SOAR, series of online academic reviews of mathematics for CLAID learning materials. So kanina, grade 7, week 2, review lesson ang ibinahagi sa atin ni Teacher Marvin. And this time, proceed tayo sa week 2 review lesson for grade 8 naman using CLAID learning materials. And let me introduce to you our teacher facilitator for a review class for this session. Okay, so he is a teacher 2 from City of Mandaluyong Science High School. Graduated from Rizal Technological College, Bachelor of Science in Education, major in Mathematics. The finished academic requirements for his master's degree at National Teachers College, an MTOP scholar, a certified MTOP trainer, worked at La Immaculada Concepcion School, Pasig for 10 years, and he is in teaching for 19 years sa SDO Mandaluyong. So let us all welcome Mr. Ricky F. Fabit. Sir, good morning and good luck po sa inyo.
Hello everyone, we are in the second week edition of the Project SOAR series of online academic reviews of Math-sayang learning modules. Yours truly, a teacher from the City of Mandaluyong Science High School under the leadership of a very supportive, intelligent, and very hardworking principal, Mr. Roderick R. Minjola. I also want to take this opportunity to greet all the SDO officials headed by a brilliant woman, Dr. Romela M. Cruz. Special thanks also to my friend, to our mathematics supervisor, Mr. Restituto R. Lodelas, for giving me a chance or trusting me to experience this kind of undertakings. I also want to greet all the teachers out there, especially the teachers of the City of Mandaluyong Science High School, all students also in Mandaluyong, especially my students in our school, the grade 9 students, and of course the parents who are watching right now. Special mention our GPTA officials headed by Mr. Lucas. Thank you. And please continue supporting this Project SOAR of Mandaluyong. At ako po naniniwala na ang batang Mandunong, walang maiiwan, lahat ay kasama sa ilang. Muli, marami pong salamat at naway patnubayan tayo lagi ng ating pong may kapal.
Hello everyone, welcome to the second edition, or the second week edition of the Project SOAR series of online academic reviews of applied learning modules. To get a recap of last week's topics about week 1 module. our objectives. First, to determine the discriminant of a quadratic equation. Second, describe the relationship between the coefficients and the roots of a quadratic equation. In our past lesson, we discussed all about quadratic equation, and this is in the form of our standard form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We all know that a, b, and c should be elements of real numbers, and a should not be equal to 0. We have four ways or four methods in getting the roots of a quadratic equation. The following are extracting square roots, we have factoring, we have completing the square, and we have the quadratic formula. So, sa apat na ito, tanging si completing the square lamang at si quadratic formula lamang ang may power or may kakayahan na isolve lahat ng klase na quadratic equation. Hindi pwedeng gawin ni extracting square roots at ni factoring. Now, we all know that quadratic formula was derived using the completing the square method. Is it, no? So, ang pinakasikas sa kanilang apat, yun nga yung si quadratic formula. Ito yung karaniwang ginagamit ng mga bata kasi sobra siyang madali manipulate. It's just a matter of getting the right values of ABC, but we do it that quadratic equation that C or D is doing is firstly in standard form. So it is sure or secure the A, B, C, D, or C is using is correct. And after that, after getting the right values of A, B, C, it's just substituting them in the A, B, C in the formula. And if ever he or she has the right way of doing it or manipulating it, so he or she will be getting the correct answer. Okay. This formula has two roots. We have the positive root, which is negative x squared. X of 1 is negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4a over 2a. And this counterpart, the negative root, which is negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4a over 2a. They are becoming pair. Magkamukha sila, parang they only differs in the sign that connects them. Try me, what are my solutions? As you notice, no, they are all quadratic equations because all of them are raised to the second power. And we all know that in algebra, if an equation is using this variable, whatever the highest power is, will be the number of roots. But in this case, since the highest power is 2, definitely we'll be getting only 2 roots. And of course, if you'll be doing the right thing or using the right method in the 4 methods that I have presented, you'll be getting the correct answers like this. In the case of x squared minus 6x plus 9, it's obviously a perfect square number. No? So the roots are 3 and 3. So sila ay dalawa na pareho. They are both real numbers and they are both rational numbers. By the way, when we speak of rational numbers, these are numbers that can be changed to fraction. What about this one? No. So if you have 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 equals 0, and so again doing the right method, you'll be ending up with x equals 2/3 and x equals 3. So notice that they are real numbers also. They're also rational numbers because they can be changed to fraction. However, this time they are different. What about this one? No. So again, doing or getting solutions, these are the expected solutions. They come in pair. Para sila yung in the form of a plus b, a minus b, conjugate. By the way, these are real numbers, but rational, since we all know that if a non-perfect square number is under a radical sign, it is said to be rational. Another thing is the decimal values of irrational numbers are non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. This one. x squared minus 2x plus 5 equals 0. So this is, the roots are non-real. So non-real because there exists the I. Imaginary. Again, it also came in pair. Para siyang yung irrational, no? Para siyang in the form of a plus b and a minus b. Now, for us to have an idea about this one, so I is an imaginary unit. It's only applicable for non-real numbers. I squared is equal to -1 when we square I equals the square root of -1. Again, I squared is equal to -1. Meron tayong gabay sa topic na ito, no? Gabay or a clue or hint for us to know beforehand the would-be type of solutions or roots or nature of roots that we'll be getting. That is using the discriminant. So, the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Galing siya sa quadratic formula, x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So, the expression under the radical sign is b squared minus 4ac is that particular expression that we use to determine the nature of roots, and that is what we call discriminant. Okay. Ano ang kanyang tulong sa atin? So, by the way, we have four ways or four conditions on how to really describe nature of roots or para malaman natin kung anong klaseng root nga meron tayo. So, the first condition is when b squared minus 4ac equals 0, then anong roots natin? Ang ating roots ay real numbers, rational numbers, at the same time equal. So, basically, ito yung apply natin kapag yung ating given ay isang perfect square triangle. I mean, the left expression of the 0 is the perfect square triangle. But when b squared minus 4ac is bigger than 0 and a perfect square, then the roots are real, rational, and unequal. So ito yung mga tipong pwedeng i-factor. So kapag alam mo ang concept ng discriminant, alam mo agad na pwede siyang mag-factor. So ito yung mga tipong bata may tanong sa atin, Sir, kung nalaman ang factorable procedure, din na pwede i-factor. Itong gawin nyo. Kunin nyo ang kanyang discriminant. And if in case you got positive value of the discriminant, and that is a perfect square, okay, it is factorable. I guarantee you that. Next. When b squared minus 4ac is bigger than 0, positive. At this time, not perfect square. The roots are real. Irrational yan yung presence of numbers inside the radical sign are not perfect squares. Like what I said a while ago. In the case of b squared and 4 is equal to 0, at this time we have a negative value of the discriminant, then the equation has no real roots. So at this time there exists the imaginary numbers, and we have the complex conjugate numbers. Let's say, for example, direction use the discriminant to determine the characteristics or nature of roots. So in the first one, it's just a matter of using the formula, no? And of course, getting the values of A, B, C. After having the right values of A, B, and C, it's just a matter of substituting that in that discriminant formula. So in this case, we have 36 that's itself 36 0. So beforehand, we are we are given the clue that whenever we have discriminant which is 0, then the roots are real, rational, and equal. To check it out, let's have the answer now. So alam natin na yun ang kanyang roots. And yung left side niya ay a perfect square polynomial with discriminant square polynomial. And then factors are x minus 3, x minus 3. So the roots are another one. So we have 3x squared and 7x minus 6 equals 0. So for us to know its characteristics of the roots, again, we'll be applying the discriminant formula. So b squared minus 4ac, again, we have to first get the right values of the a, b, and c. So in our case, a is 3, b is negative 5, c is negative 6. And again, plugging in the formula, so negative 7 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 6, we'll be obtaining 49 plus 72 is equal to 121. So 121 is clear to us that is it is a perfect square number. So the roots are real, rational, and natural. So taking it out, ito nga, so we have negative 2/3 and 3. So sila ay dalawang magkaiba real numbers na rational. So makes sense. And of course, we're going to get to with their factors and the way we got negative 2/3 and x plus 3. So we have the factors, equating the factors to 0 using the zero property. We obtained yun nga, x is negative 2/3 and x is equal to 3. Of this, x squared minus 4x minus 3 equals 0. So we have a equals 1, b is negative 4, and c is equal to negative 3. Again, for b squared minus 4c. So negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times c, which is negative 3. So we have 28. 28, as we all know, is positive, but not a perfect square number. So definitely, the roots are real, irrational, and not equal. Yan yung mga merong sagot tayo na may radical. So ito nga po yan, ating ginagamit kanina. Last one. We have x squared and 2x plus 5 equals 0. And getting the values of a, we have 1 is negative 2, and c equals 5. Again, using the discriminant formula, b squared minus 4ac, and substituting them correctly. So 4 less negative 4 less 20 equals negative 16. Again, be reminded that whenever we got a discriminant value, it's negative, negative. So we have now an idea that those are non-real roots or imaginary or complex conjugate numbers. So that's it, no? So we can clarify through its solutions talaga na ang ating solutions nga ay non-real. Describe my roots. Say for instance, you were given like this, no? So it's also describing the roots. So of course, what we're gonna do is to simplify the x minus 2 squared. That's what we know in algebra. So it goes like that. And then our target here is to end up with a correct standard form. And we have the negative 3x squared plus 12x plus 3 equals 0. A is 3, b is 12, and c equals 3. Again, putting them or substituting the b, a, and c in that uh, discriminant formula. So we have 144 plus 36, 180. 180 is positive, but not perfect square number. So guess what? The roots are, the roots of this given equation is or are real, rational, and not equal. Okay, what about this? 2x squared equals 4x minus 3. So dapat isa muna siyang maging standard form para tama yung ating nakuhang A, B, and C. So we have A equals 2, B is negative 4, and C equals 3. So using it again, the formula, doing the right substitution. So at this time, we have a negative number. So again, whenever we have a negative value of a discriminant, we expect the roots are not real, imaginary, and a complex conjugate number. This time, let's uh, discuss the relationships between the coefficients of the roots of a quadratic function. Ano kaya ang kaugnayan, ano kaya ang asosasyon or association between the coefficients, yung A, B, C, with respect to the roots of a quadratic equation. So let's find it out. So if R sub 1 and R sub 2 are the roots of a quadratic equation, in ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, again, we have to restrict a not to be 0. We all know that. So what will happen if we divide both of the terms in that equation by a? So definitely the a at the leftmost part will be cancelled out, turning it to x squared plus bx over a plus c over a. Alam natin, ang 0 over a is still 0. We all know that. And then we can now somehow conclude that R1 plus R2 is negative b over a. Why negative b over a? Malaman niyo siya mamaya ng konti as we go on. But for the product of the roots, it is just the ratio of the constant term and a. A, as we all know, is the numerical coefficient of the quadratic term. However, b is the numerical coefficient of the linear term. Now, so with this our guide. So the equation that we will be getting is x squared minus ang roots, that's the x. Ang sum ng roots ay numerical coefficient ng linear term. However, the product of the roots serves as the constant term. Siyempre, don't forget the equal 0 or else mali. So again, x squared minus the r1 plus r2, our sum of the roots, x plus the product r1 times r2 equals 0. And for us to have a deeper understanding about the negative b over a at saka c over a kung saan nagmula, allow me to discuss it to you this one. So basically, it admitted or accepted that we have two roots in a quadratic equation. So in this case, the positive root is x of 1 is negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And similarly, the negative root is negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, what will happen? It will be getting their sum. Let's take a look. So negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a positive root into root negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So what will happen? It will be adding them. Of course, the radicals cancelled or were cancelled out because in math, if a number is added to itself, definitely it's 0. If we're going to add negative b and negative b, we'll be obtaining negative 2b. Take note, in elementary math, if we're adding similar fractions, just a matter of copying or obtaining a common denominator. In the case of negative 2b, 2a, it's not yet a knowledge term because there's a common factor that exists between them, 2. So x of 1 plus x of 2 is negative b over a. So talagang negative b over a. Next. What about the product of the roots? So in terms of the product of the roots, is what we're going to do. So if in the first one we added them, this time of course we have to multiply. So the positive root times the negative root. So we have negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac times negative b times the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a squared. Parang ito yung form na ano, the product of the sum and difference of two binomials. So parang apply mo lang yung product nila is a squared minus b squared. So moving on, we're going to get the product na. So we'll be getting b squared minus the quantity of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. So the b squared minus b squared was cancelled out. What was left? 4ac all over 4a squared. And when again simplified, we obtain c over a. So uh, that's the ratio of the the constant term and the numerical coefficient of the quadratic term a. Now let's have an example. So suppose you were given an equation like this, and the task is to find the sum and the product of the roots. So here you don't need to get their actual roots, but rather applying the relationship between the coefficients and some of the roots. So uh, this is a is 1, b is -6, and c equals 9. So let's just use the formula, no? So r1 plus r2, the roots is negative b over a. So it's just a matter of the negative of b, which is -6 all over 1. Simplifying it further, the sum is 6. For the product, it is c over a. So it's just a matter of uh, substituting c with 9 and a is 1. So the product of the root is equal to 9. So dito, sabihin, pag may root tayo, we're going to check that talagang ang sum pala ng root at product ay 6 and 9 respectively. So let us check. We all know that the roots are 3 and 3. So if we're going to add, yun nga, 6. If we're going to multiply, 9 nga. So makes sense. So, so this is very important for us na yung hindi mo alam yung root pero somehow alam mo yung posibleng sum and product of the roots. What about this? Okay, so kung mag-shortcut ako dito, ang gawin nyo lang kasi dapat yung A dapat ay 1. So para maging A ay equal to 1 dito, we will divide all of them by 3. No? Kung aking is shortcut. Tapos pag divide ko ng isang lahat, ang lumabas na lang ay x squared minus 7 over 3, x minus 6 over 3 equals 2. However, ito muna tayo. So, let's have the long process. So R1 plus R2, negative over A again. So negative of -7 over 3 is 7 over 3. So yan po. So parang doon, parang divide natin ng 3 dito, yung -7 over 3, just its opposite sign or just negate. So in the process, tumatama naman tayo. Tama naman. And for the product of the roots, so para bang just the quotient of -6 or -6 all over 3, we have -2. Okay? Next. So yun nga, the roots are -2/3 and x equals 3. So pag atin silang to check, pag atin silang inad, ayun nga 7/3. Pag atin siyang multiply, ayun nga, -2. So there's really a connection. Okay, final sum and product of the roots of the given quadratic equation. So for example, you were given like this. So siguro, since may idea na kayo, you don't need to do the long process. Since a is equal to 1 in here, just negate this. So ang sum ng root mo ay 4. At ang product ng roots mo ay -3. So ganoon lang kadali. Anyway, doing the long process, okay? So, yun nga, ang sum ay 4 ng roots at ang product ng roots ay -3. So, napakalaking bagay pala itong idea ng relationship between the coefficients and the roots of a quadratic equation. So ito nga yun, yan ang kanyang roots talaga. So notice, I'm using same example as what I've used before, in my previous discussion, so that there's a connection. So to check, if we're gonna add 2 and 2 here, to be 4, and there goes square root of 7, -7, they are cancelled out. So that, and of course, so we have fourth as the sum. For the product, it's again in the form of a plus b and a minus b. You should have here the uh, ah, lagyan natin, no? Meron dapat ditong find the sum and product of the roots of the given quadratic equation. So dito pwedeng mental natin, no? So mentally, we can now say, sir, ang posible po product ng root ay 2. Tama ka dyan. At ang posible po product ng ang sum ng root daw nila ay positive 2. But in the case of the product of the roots, dapat ay 5. That's right. Okay? Again, using that in the formula, 2 is the sum and product is 5. So again, may I remind everyone that we should not forget to get the opposite signs of whatever numerical coefficient we have in the linear term. If it's negative, make it positive. If it's positive, make it negative. So to check, ngayon, the roots are 1 plus 2i and x equals 1 minus 2i, non-real roots. Now, let's check what will happen if we add them. So, adding them, positive I, if I cancel, giving us 2 as the sum. What about the product? So yan yung parang a plus b, a minus b. So parang square mo lang si 1, square mo lang si 2i squared. So we have 1 plus 2 squared times I squared. Again, before I mentioned that the value of I squared is negative 1. So if I squared is negative 1, and then multiplying it with 1 plus 4, we will be getting 5. I think this should be multiplied. No? So this is multiplied. It's multiplication. That's why 1 plus 4 is equal to 5 times negative. Give the sum and the product of the roots. What about this one? Oh, this time given yung sum saka product ng roots. So ano kaya yung particular quadratic equation na ang sum ng root ay 8 at ang product ng roots niya ay negative 3. So tignan natin. So again, using the concept of the sum of the roots. So yun nga, 8 ang sum, product is negative 3. Then ipasok mo lang dito sa ating guide. So tignan natin na, tignan mo, I have a negative sign outside. So meaning, kaya may negative doon, in-negate. So we have x squared minus 8x minus 3 equals 0. So meaning, this equation, which is x squared minus 8x minus 3 equals 0, has the roots. I mean, has the sum of the roots equal to 8 and 3. So dito, hindi na natin kinuha yung actual roots at ina-add. Kasi definitely, kapag kinuha ko yung roots niyan, yun nga rin. Ang sum niya ay 8, ang product ng roots nila ay negative 3. Okay, so what about this? 1/2 sum product negative 2. So we're going to add 1/2. Okay, so or rather 1/2 is already given, sum product negative 2/3. Ipasok mo sa ating guide dito. So we have negative 1/2 and minus 2/3. In my given direction, the coefficients daw should be in integers. So dapat no fractional coefficient. So what will I do? For me to remove the fractions as the b and the c in here, I have to multiply all of them by 6 LCD. So let's see what will happen if I have done the right multiplication of 6. We have 6 squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. So ito yung quadratic equation na ang sum ng root ay 1/2 at 2/3. Tignan natin. Let us check para di ko na siya. If I divide all of them by 6, so we have x squared minus negative 3 over 6 is negative 1/2. And once I get the sign of -1 up, we have 1 not there. And in the case of the product, so -4/6 is -2/3. So tandaan natin, walang binabagong sign pagdating sa product of the root. Okay, so ganun pa din. What if the given is like that, no? This time naman, ang given ay roots. So ano raw yung quadratic equation na kung saan ang roots niya ay 12 sa -4? Dadaan tayo ulit sa addition of the root. So when we add 12 sa -4, we have 8. Pinasam natin, ha? And then ang product is -48. And then substituting 8 in r plus 1 plus r2. However, again, we have a negative sign outside. So x squared minus 8x minus 48 equals 0. Ito yung quadratic equation na ang roots ay 12 at -4. So, yan na po. What about in the case of the roots, 3/4 -5? So, again, it's just a matter of adding the roots. So, if we add 3/4 and -5, I have 2/3/4. And if in case that will be simplified, I have -15/4. Yan ang sum natin. Our product order. And then I have x squared na minus 23/4 x. It should be ano here, anong sign dito? Minus na doble. And then again, as we have read a while ago that the coefficient should be integers. So again, I have to multiply them by 12. And upon multiplying them by 12, I obtain the 12x squared minus 69x minus 60 equals 0. So ito po yung quadratic equation. Ang roots niya ay 3/4 and -5. Okay, what about this one? So medyo komplikado ng konti, no? Irrational numbers, irrational. So no problem. Just simply do the addition of the roots. So makatulog dyan yung square root of 5 and negative square root of 5 because they're opposites. So we have 4/3, the product, sum of the roots. For the product, just parang a plus b and a minus b, we have -1/9. So the equation, so the guide, x squared minus 4/3 minus 1/9. Doble ko yung minus. Kasi kung anong sign kasi ng product, just copy, just minus. Ha? So pwede ko siyang habaan na lang para medyo talagang minus na minus. Then, ang fractional coefficients. So again, multiply them by 9. So we have 9x squared minus 12x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, sir. Yan pala, yung 9x squared na yan, minus 12x minus 1 equals 0. Pag sinolve natin yan, yung things to ponder, things to remember, with regards to the value of the discriminant with respect to nature of roots of a quadratic equation. So whenever we have a zero value of the discriminant, the roots are real and equal numbers. Yan yung mga perfect square trinomial. In the case of positive and perfect square, so the roots are real, rational, not equal. Yan yung mga pwedeng i-factor over integers. At kapag naman daw ang b squared minus 4ac is positive and not perfect square, asahan natin ng ating roots ay real but rational, not equal numbers. Yan yung papasok yung may mga radicals kayong makakita. No? And for the negative value of the discriminant, roots are non-real. Yan yung mga nakita ay imaginary. Yung mga nakalagay na ay non-real. The fourth of the relationship between the roots and the coefficients of a quadratic equation. So if r sub 1 and r sub 2 are the roots of a quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, our standard form, wherein a is not 0, then r1 plus r2 is the negative. Take note. the negative of b over a. And for the product of the roots is just simply the ratio of the c over a, the constant term and the numerical coefficient of the product. So, yung ating ginagamit kanina, yung ating guide, and of course, x squared minus r1 plus r2 x plus r1 times r2 equals 0. Now, to end up my discussion, let me leave you inspirational message or for us to be motivated in our life, a sort of motivation or encouragement that life is a math equation. In order to gain the most of it, you have or we have to know how to convert negatives to positives. That was obtained. That was from a mathematics books. And that's all for today. Thank you again. I am yours truly, Ricky Fabig of the city of Mandaluyong Science High School. Thank you very much.